I turned off the AC and I'm already hot. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Welcome to this podcast where I chat about yarn, about knitting, about some crochet occasionally, and also about my second love, which is paper and everything that goes in that category. Lots of it would be fountain pens. I chose today for introductions, first of all, of myself, which I haven't done in ages. I don't even know how long I've been doing this podcast, but let's reintroduce myself as a warm welcome to all the people that are new, that have joined me on this channel, and also for a very special reason, because there is a big news that I have to share with you. Change is coming. So stick around. After a bit of personal stuff, I would like to talk about that. I grew up and lived for a big part of my life in Germany. By now, I've been married to my sweetheart for 28 years, and we have two beautiful children, both grown up, as you can imagine, and one of them is living here, still at home with us for the time being, and the other one, our daughter, who is the younger one, she moved to New York City last year. But did I want to talk about my kids? No, I wanted to talk about myself. After we got married, I lived in Maryland for a good few years before we moved to Albuquerque. And it's crazy when I think about it that we have already lived here in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, for almost 20 years. Yeah, that's a long time. And I have been very, very happy here. I learned to knit when I was very young. I am not quite sure who actually taught me to knit, but I'm sure my mother was involved because she was an avid knitter. But also, as you may know, in Europe, in Germany, you learn all these fiber arts, embroidery, knitting, crochet. You learn that in school. You have a class called Handarbeiten, and that's, of course, what I also had and where I worked on these things. My mother was a very busy woman. She worked a lot from home, and so I'm not so sure how much time she would actually have had to teach me, but I did start off with a lot of crochet. I do remember that, crochet clothes for my Barbie. Love that. Yeah. Hold on a second. It's getting really, really hot and I need to figure out something. I'm sorry, I had to turn on the AC. So hopefully it's not going to bother you so much that there is a bit of a humming in the background. But where was I? New Mexico, the place that I love. I have been so happy here, and I still am very happy here. Occasionally I travel, and I have just been out of town, and we flew to Buffalo, and then we of course visited Niagara Falls, and then drove through Canada, ended up in Chicago, where we spent a few days before we just got home last week. And so stick around at the end. I will pop in a little bit of footage from that trip. But yeah, so I have to say that I do enjoy those places where it's just lush green. Maryland was such a place. but also just where we vacationed. Of course, there is no water here, nothing where you could, I mean, I could drive somewhere to a lake, but we're just not really doing that. But occasionally, I guess I also go to the ocean to get a bit of a beach and water fix. But yeah, I do love the desert. I find that it has a very special beauty. I love the light that we have. It makes things very clear and sharp in a way, and colors become very brilliant. So to get my business started, which is Zia Wools, was a natural progression where I could translate my love for colors, my love for wool, into something that makes me happy, because it makes me happy to create beautiful yarns that I love, that as I know you love too. And when I chose a name for my business, it's a funny story. The progression was, initially I named my business Sheep on a Spring, because I have this super cool sheep on a spring that a friend had gifted me. It's kind of like an artsy thing, and because she knew that I love sheep, so it was a sweet and thoughtful gift, and it's my favorite sheep, so that was the name. But you know how we all are, we skim over things, and so a lot of times I heard sheep on a string. People read sheep on a string, which of course it is not. And let me show you the sheep on a spring. And now you know why it had to be it had to be this, named after this sheep. But then I could not live with people messing it up, and I realized it was just not the right name. So then I thought, well, what's near and dear to my heart? This beautiful place. The Zia symbol is on the flag of New Mexico. And so this was just natural to honor this place that I love so much in my business name, Zia Wools. It was maybe a bit of a naive approach, because I never thought where the name came from. I mean, of course, I knew that it's a symbol that has been used by Native Americans, and with a beautiful, deep meaning. Look it up if you're curious. I don't want to get distracted. But so my reasoning was, what better way to honor this place that I love so much and that is so beautiful than to incorporate the New Mexican flag, the Zia symbol on the New Mexican flag, into the name for my business, Zia Wools. And over the years, as I have grown my roots here, as I have planted deeper roots, as I have immersed myself more and more into this place, I realized I need to change the name, because Zia is also the name of a Native American pueblo. And while it was never thought to be disrespectful, maybe in a way it looks like it's disrespectful. I do not want anybody to feel like, hey, why is she using the name of a Native American pueblo? I have no connection to that, and I would finally like to change my business name. The time has come. I've been talking about this for a long time, but as you can imagine, there's so much involved. You need to change the name, you've got to do tax stuff, you need to do all of your, that whole thing of rebranding, new tags, new labels. How do I get the word out? I mean, I'm lucky because I have a podcast, but still, there's people who get my yarn through stores in Taos, in Santa Fe, Acer, in Taos, it's Mooncat Fibers. In Albuquerque, it is the yarn store at Nob Hill. All of these stores carry my yarn, and I need those customers who not all watch the podcast. I need them to know who I am now, who I will be. And which brings me back to the topic of the name, of choosing the new name. And it was hard, but also it was easy, because I have always been in all of my online presence where I was not known by my full name. I have been PAPERDAG. Dag is short for my first name, Dagmar, and paper has been around forever, since I've still lived in Germany, because my girlfriend's name was Sue, and she was always into everything electronic, so she was Cable Sue and I was PAPERDAG, because I loved my letters, I loved my paper, my fountain pens already back there. And so PAPERDAG. So I have struggled a little bit with that thought of, isn't it confusing for people that a yarn is called paper something? But I think it is only logical. So it will be PAPERDAG Yarns. And this will be the new name of my business. I am in the process. Of course, I need a new label, and that will, in due time, that will come. And I hope you will still embrace what I create, and yeah, let me know what you think of the name, if that would bother you. But I feel like this new name embraces my personal identity. I am PAPERDAG. I've always been PAPERDAG. And so it's PAPERDAG Yarns. And what I have done last year for the first time was to offer some notebooks with collage art on the cover, and I thought, well, that kind of lines up then also with my business name. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I mean, it's a change that has been in the making for, I want to say, a few years. I've talked about this for a few years, and now I feel good that I have made the decision, and I really, out of deep respect for our Native American community, specifically here in New Mexico, but also all over the country, and which was a process that I had to grow into this knowledge, because I grew up in Germany and not knowing anything about what it means truly to live in the Southwest. That was, it just took me a while, because, I mean, to be perfectly honest and transparent, you come here as a European and you have grown up with cowboy movies, black and white, Bonanza and whatnot. I mean, that's not what it is to live here. So yeah, I hope you will help me to embrace this change, and let me know what you think. And yeah, on to our normal regular podcast program. That was a lot. Let me start with this top, and I have meant to find out if the pattern is also available in English. I am unfortunately not 100% sure, but the name of this pattern is Power Flower Top. Flower Power Top. Gosh, I know I'm messing it up. I'm putting it on the screen, and the designer's name is Strick und Fit, Anja. She's in Germany and she writes amazing pattern, and I'm really glad I made this. She had gifted me the pattern 2 or 3 years ago after designing it, and I was like, oh, I fell in love instantly. And I decided to use Theodora's Pearls yarns. And this is a lovely drapey bamboo yarn. Azalea and turquoise, of course. And I love the drape. And hold on. Yeah, I don't wear a lot of knitted tops in the summer because anything other than cotton feels hot to me and thick, but I wore this on Sunday and I am so glad I did. I got so many compliments. I wore it to church, and I thought I gotta show you. Sorry, I had to adjust the camera again. So I told you I just got back from the trip. Like I said, a little bit of footage at the end, and I'm gonna go and show you my little bit of stash enhancement that I got on the trip. Aren't these adorable? Look at them. Oh my gosh. I told you I've been to Canada, and I also went to London, and no, it's not London, England, but there is a town named London in Canada, and that's where I visited a yarn store. Nothing to write home about really, but whatever. I found these beauties, and it was actually an amazing setup. I forgot to take a picture because I was so excited. Like on yarn, like threads for sewing. You know how there's these stands where they are all lined up. That's what they had for these little mohair bits. And it's as far as I know, Kadia is a European company. And here is so it's 67% mohair, 30% polyamide, and I literally could have bought all the colors. It was such a lovely array of colors. Oh, there you go. Spanish yarn, Spanish company, so cool. So it's concept by Kadia, 50 mohair shades, so cool. Super kid mohair. And oh yeah, 3% wool, I forgot, sorry. Of course, 67% plus 30% does not add up to 100, but yeah. So I thought, well, I'm gonna pick a few colors that spoke to me kind of like randomly, and I will use those to hold them together with another yarn for fingerless mitts when the time comes. Yes, and then what else? I have finished a pair of socks because, as I told you last time, I had not told you about my sock UFOs. And I did bring 2 sock projects on the trip, and one of them I finished, and the other one I'm pushing ahead, and you will see that one in a moment. And this yarn is by a German hand dyer. Volbully is her name, Ilona, and she's not dyeing professionally. I think that label is so cute, don't you think? Volbully. Bully is the name for those Volkswagen buses. Yeah, and the other one, I did finish the first sock on the trip, and this is a Zauberball, Schoppel-Zauberball, if you pronounce it the German way. And I brought my knitting on the trip when we were walking, especially in Chicago, because we had probably about a 45-minute L, kind of like the above ground subway, which makes no sense, doesn't make sense to you. So it's called the L. So on the L, we had quite the commute to the center of town, and that's where I had kept my project, and I used 2.5 millimeter needles. And I am past the heel. Beautiful stitch marker by my friend Mel here in New Mexico. And yeah, so I want to try to knit 10 rounds every night to get these done too. And then I have only one more sock project left. Do you believe that? First of all, I had forgotten that I have these. And then when I reacquainted myself with my basket of sock UFOs, I thought I had started all of these last year, and now I just yesterday I skimmed through my Ravelry and I'm like, okay, here's these, because I updated my knitting journal also with the socks, and I'm like, okay, wait, I started these in 24 and not in 25. I thought it had taken me 1 year, but it had taken me 2 years. Well, of course, I mean, you know what that means. It had taken me that long. Of course, it did not. I did not knit. Well, you know, don't need to go into that. I did want to say a word about my sock blockers, which I have made several years ago. I really I laid them down on plastic placemats. This is really like a hard plastic, harder, I should say. And this was one of those foamy ones. You see that? It's just thicker. It's not quite as stiff as these, but it's just nice. Hold on a second. That was my daughter calling, and then my husband came through, and then my son came through. Hopefully I have a few minutes to finish up here for you. Where was I? I showed you my socks. And so the plan is to push those on and finish them. And by the way, in case you wonder, this yarn, I had 41 grams left. That's a whole third sock. Funny. Okay. I have been knitting on my Bruma shawl. And this is the page in my journal, in my knitting journal. I took it on the trip, and I think when we flew to Buffalo, I was knitting on something else, and on the return flight, I continued on this. I put it on an extra needle so I could show you better. This is where I am right now. I need to tell you that I would be already finished now with this last section, but it's funny because I was talking to a friend about it, and I said it's kind of weird that that you have other sections that are about the same size, and then that last section would have ended probably about, I want to say here. So I'm already way past because I decided I wanted to use up more of my yarn, and I still have this much. And when I talked to my friend, he said, you know, probably she ran out of yarn. And then I thought, wait, I gotta check again what's up with my yarn. And sure enough, I had a 150 gram skein with this, and that is a skein of soft sock by the Woolly Mammoth, Anchorage, Alaska. Hand dyed. Oh no, it's called, the brand is Northern Bee Studio. Yes, the store is the Woolly Mammoth. And the turquoise is Rohrspatz und Wollmeise, German yarn, with a cashmere content, and all of them have a 10% cashmere content. The first one too. The first one was a 4-ounce skein, whereas the second one, the turquoise, is a 100 gram skein. Yeah, I'm excited to keep pushing this forward because I love how it turns out. And I'm using 4mm needles, in case you wonder, by the way. And I need to tell you that the pattern is by Bruma. The pattern Bruma is by Stella AGD. Sounds Italian. Her other name is the Moody Knitter, and so she it's just so well written. So if you like my shawl and you might consider making one, don't hesitate. It's really, really a very well written pattern. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully I'm going to have it done by the time I record the next podcast. And then the second big project that I brought on the trip lives in here, and no surprise here, this is the Tani cardigan for my daughter in yellow yarn, and this pattern is by Anke Strick. I am using 4mm needles, and I showed you the yarn that I had planned to use, but this is so crazy because I dyed up 3 different shades of yellow, my desert candy, to hold with fluff, with Zia Wool's velvet, PAPERDAG yarns velvet, and I did not use any one of them, not even the one that I told you I was going to use, which I knew was going to be her favorite. Because guess what happened? I made my swatch, I loved it, looks lovely, wonderful. I started knitting and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too dense. And sure enough, then it hit me all of a sudden. I cannot use it like that because with a bigger needle size and exactly the same yarn, I made the ivy sweaters. So why would this work when I had bigger needles for the ivy sweater? So back to where I had initially started from, which is using one of my lace yarns that had already been dyed up in the perfect color long time ago, and that's it. It is Zia Wool's Desert Willow. It has a little bit over 1,200 yard. It's 100% merino, and it's just a lovely, lovely yarn. Actually, I have another UFO that is lingering, which is a lace yarn that lace shawl that I'm using this yarn for. So yeah, haven't touched that in a very, very long time. And here is the velvet that I'm holding with it. And as you can see, I am just before starting the sleeves, picking up the stitches for the sleeves and getting going on that. I have to say, I'm a little bit worried about running out of yarn for the sleeves, obviously. And well, I'm just gonna keep going and keep my fingers crossed, and I'm gonna play yarn chicken. I have tried this on and it looks really, really lovely. What I did was, because I had to go down a needle size and gauge was not perfect, so I decided on one size. Then when I started the neck and the shoulders, everything is started the same way, but then I thought, wait, I don't have the width to get to the shoulder where the sleeve then comes down. So I decided I'm going to switch to a larger size, and then I switched back again. And yeah, I think, let me see what I had. If you're curious, I think I switched to size 6 for that shoulder section, and then I went back to size 5 in regards to the stitch count for the sleeves. Yes, that's what I did. Yeah. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So this is the status of the cardigan for my daughter, which I had cast on just before we left, like 1 or 2 days before, to get it going. And then I was working on it while we were on our trip. There was a lot of car knitting, there was airplane knitting. It was all good. And in case you wonder, I have never had any problems with needles on the plane going through security. And last time for the flight back, I even had my metal needles with the sock project in my carry-on, and I wasn't even flagged that someone wanted to see what that is. Yeah, so good on that. And that was a flight from Chicago to back to New Mexico. Now, just a word about the no, I always do that, about the UFO Mania 2026, where we push forward those unfinished objects that have been lingering too long. And you can participate in this knit along, and if you would like to have a chance to win a prize, go to my still called Zia Wolves group on Ravelry and check out that thread, the UFO Mania 2026. If you are in America, you will win a prize by me. I did not bring it. It's a sock blank, and maybe I'll come up with something else. Haven't decided yet. We have time until the end of July. And if you are in Germany, Austria, you have the chance to win something that has been donated by some friends in Germany, some who said, hey, I'll be happy to sponsor your knit along. And we have some glass. I'm gonna say it here, even though, because some of you are located in Europe, in Germany or wherever, and speak German and still watch the English podcast. So good for you to improve your English. You shouldn't do it with me because I'm not a native American English speaker, but still, good job. So we have glass stitch markers, which you have seen on my projects by Marita, who's called Glass Minis on Instagram. We have Nicole of Villa Bolkneuel. She also has a podcast. She doesn't just dye yarn, but she also has a podcast, and she is donating yarn and progress keepers, and I'm putting in pictures here. And then I was contacted by Martin of Diese Wolle GmbH. Actually, the name is on Instagram, Diese Wolle, and they are sponsoring with two skeins of hand-dyed yarns, which are two separate wins. And I did want to give them a shout out because they're a family that has had this business since 1964, and you can go to their, it's not a storefront, but a how do I say that in English? But it's their storage place where they work from, where you can go to and buy yarn. It's in Stolberg, close to Aachen. And they also have a website called triolana.de, where they sell high quality sock yarns packaged up for a discounted price. I did want to check that out. Do I need more yarn, more sock yarn? Probably not, because I don't knit that many socks, as we have clearly established today. But in case you are curious, here is the name on the screen. And the knit along ends at the end of July. Make sure you enter your finished projects in the group on Ravelry. Everything will be shut down by the end of July, before the official change with the new name starts to PAPERDAG yarns in August. Yes, and until then, I hope you have a lot of fun with whatever you're working on, knitting, crochet, and whatnot, spinning. Oh yeah, a lot of you are doing Tour de Fleece again. I couldn't do it this year because I was out of town, but I enjoyed it a lot last year, and I'm seeing a lot of fun pictures on Instagram. Yeah, so have fun with whatever you do, and I'll see you again. Probably it's going to be the beginning of August when we deal with the winners of the UFO Mania 2026. So be well. Until then, bye-bye.